ChatGPT, create a keto recipe for Marry Me Chicken.
Marry Me Chicken is a popular dish known for its rich, flavorful taste, typically featuring a creamy sauce. To make a keto-friendly version, we can adjust the recipe to lower the carbohydrate content while keeping the flavors robust and satisfying.
Hey everyone, I'm Dave and welcome back to the AI Kitchen. Today, I have decided it's time to start thinking a little bit healthier for the next couple videos at least, and try keto out. I do enjoy doing keto as far as like an eating plan. I never do it super long term, but I do it sometimes. And one of my favorite recipes that I've ever made on this channel is Marry Me Chicken. A lot of you guys like it too. So I went out and I bought some chicken and I asked, this is way too much chicken, first of all. I asked ChatGPT to create a recipe this time that is Marry Me Chicken but keto friendly so that we can guiltlessly eat all the Marry Me Chicken we want. And so that is what we're gonna do. We're gonna start off by just, what's it called, butterflying these chicken breasts, which isn't really part of the recipe. Now a lot of people say you should rinse the chicken breasts with water. Should I do that? Maybe I'll do it this time. I'm feeling a little bit crazy and adventurous. These are huge chicken breasts. I might just do 3. I might just do 2. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do 3. Because the recipe calls for 4 boneless chicken breasts. I'm just trying to think of what can fit in my skillet. So these are super thick. These are like some of the thickest piece of chickens I've ever seen. I'm probably gonna slice them in half, which I think is called butterflying. So 24 to 32 ounces is the estimate. And this package is 4.5 pounds. So yeah, I think 3 will be plenty to get to 24 ounces plus. All right, so anyways, we've got some chicken breasts here, 3 of them. Like I said, just because I want them to cook in a semi-reasonable fashion, I'm gonna slice them this way. And I think in my other video, what's that called when you smash them with a hammer? Either way, I smashed them with a hammer. What is that called? Why can't I remember the names of things today? Yeah, maybe tenderize is a word. I think that might be the word. But yeah, so this time we're just slicing it in half. And you could, if you wanted it thinner, go ahead and smash it down. But based on the instructions in this recipe, I don't think I'm gonna do this because this calls for oven cooking, which will give us a little bit more leeway to make sure that it gets cooked through without burning it. And since this is a new recipe, it's got some new things we're doing. In this one, which I don't think we did in our last recipe, we are seasoning the chicken with Italian seasoning on top of the salt and pepper, which is kind of cool. See, I mean, I've always kind of called Marry Me Chicken kind of keto, right? Like keto light. The question is, now that it's gonna be fully keto, is it gonna be better or worse, or I don't know, in between. So we're gonna season it with salt and pepper, a little bit of salt. Now I will say one of the biggest differences I noticed from this to the original recipe is the original recipe has us dip it in flour, which obviously flour is a big source of carbs. We're trying to avoid carbs here, so obviously we're leaving that step out. Now let's stir some pepper all over it, nicely seasoned here. You want every bite to get seasoned. Like I said, a new addition this time is Italian seasoning. It wants us to throw Italian seasoning all over, which I think is a good addition. I think that's gonna be really good. I'll be honest too, the flour part of the other recipe is like kind of a pain in the butt. So if this tastes as good or close, I might just do it this way for the simplicity. Now that I've seasoned with the 3 seasonings on this side, I'm actually gonna flip it and do the same on the other side, because why not? Season both sides. Yeah, I've done a couple varieties of the Marry Me Chicken. I've done Marry Me Steak, which was awesome. I've done Marry Me Pork, which was okay, but not amazing. Now we're gonna do and of course we did the elevated Marry Me Chicken, which had, the option to put mushrooms in it, things like that. But this one is gonna be the keto. It's January, or almost January. Time to cut back on the carbs. I will say I have a friend who went from 490 pounds to 275 last year doing keto. So it definitely can work. Pepper on the side. We'll be back when these are seasoned on both sides. Stand by. But first we do have a couple other ingredients. One of them is bay leaves and I can't seem to locate it. I know I bought them. I'm trying to find them. All right, so this recipe that ChatGPT created, this keto Marry Me Chicken, calls for 2 cloves of garlic, which if you've been watching me long enough, you know I'm doing 3. I always add 1. That night's not gonna be good for this. I have that thing that does it automatically. I could use that. Okay, so we've got our garlic and we're just going to peel it and mince it. I could use like my mincing tool, but 3 pieces of garlic. It's not hard to just go ahead and mince them. I'm sitting here peeling the garlic and thinking of last time I used the mini onions, pearl onions. We found that way to like boil them and then get them cold and then peel the skin off super fast. That was cool. I learned something new that day. I like learning something new. All right, so we've got our garlic all chopped up, and this is just prep work for the actual cooking, but might as well get it done. Oop, oven's ready. 375 on the oven if you didn't do it yet. Now's the time. We then need 1/2 cup of sun-dried tomato, which is like one of the best parts of the recipe in my opinion. It says they're supposed to be chopped. I think these ones, yeah, these are pre-chopped. Nice. Well, they're julienne. Julienne? I think that's close enough to chop. It says make sure they're not packed in oil, which every time I've done this recipe, it's been packed in oil. I'm wondering if that's a carb thing, like the oil has some carbs, but I don't think oil has carbs, does it? Here's some olive oil, 0 carbs. So I don't know why it's saying that. But I've also never found them not packed in oil, so I don't know, explain that to me guys if you know in the comments below. Now you could chop it further than this. I've found I don't need to. I've found that this is fine. But it's really up to you. So fill up my 1/2 cup. This is oil, right? Yeah, this is with herbs. Guy named Herb. I mean, listen, by this point in the show, you've had several indications that I'm not a professional cook. Some of you have even commented on it, I'm sure. But in case you didn't realize it yet, I'm not a professional cook. No cooking school, nothing like that. I don't even necessarily consider myself that good at cooking, which is why I decided to make a cooking show, because everyone I watch cook on YouTube is super good at cooking, has like, oops, that was a fail, has like restaurants and stuff, and I always found that kind of hard to relate to as someone who's not a good cook. Someone who likes cooking nonetheless. So right now I'm just shredding some Parmesan cheese. The recipe calls for 1/4 cup, so I don't need much. I feel like the normal recipe had more parm on it too, so this might be again something to cut carbs. Although there's not a lot of carbs in parm. 1 carb in 8 ounces? No, 1 inch cube. I like this little measuring thingy. Yeah, we're good. We got a 1/4 cup there. We're gonna keep the organization rolling and go ahead and measure our heavy cream right now. 1/2 cup of that. Let's make it easier in a minute when we're actually putting it all together. Oh, how can I not open this? Oh, I got it, guys. I got it. Moment of extreme weakness here. 1/2 cup of this. Perfect. 1/2 cup full. 1/2 cup of chicken broth too. Why are these so hard to open? What is happening? Ah, I got it. Did I get it? And then 1/2 cup of chicken broth. I did get it open with much struggling. Yeah, that's about 1/2 cup. Okay, so we got all that measured out. Now we can head over to the stove and actually get to cooking. I'm gonna bring all this with me. All right, so here I am over at the stove top. I've got my pan heated up and I'm gonna throw a little olive oil on it. Now an important thing, the chicken does not need to be cooked through. We just wanna put it on this pan and heat it and kind of make it golden on the sides. See, it was supposed to make a sizzle noise and it didn't. So I'm gonna give it another couple seconds to get a little warmer. It should be on medium-high heat. All right, let's see if it's sizzling yet. There you go, there's a little sizzle. So let's throw some chicken on here. We're probably gonna have to work in batches. I want to do about 2 to 3 minutes per side and then flip it. Again, doesn't need to be cooked through. We just want to get it brown on both sides and crispy. All right, so it's been about 2.5 minutes. Let's flip it over, see if it's starting to look crispy. Not really. Yeah, a little bit. So I'm just gonna go ahead and flip it. It doesn't cook perfectly evenly. Let's cook this other side for another 2 to 3 minutes. All right, so it's been about 3 minutes. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's starting to brown. Oh yeah, that one's really brown. That one's really brown, almost burnt. Let's take them off. That's all right, I'm not actually that concerned about it. They'll be like a little crispy on that side. Now let's throw the last 2 pieces in. And let's let these go for 2 minutes as well. So just kind of getting them browned, setting them aside on a plate. I just put them on a plate here. Set them aside. We're gonna get the sauce ready, then they're gonna go back into the sauce for the remainder of the cook time. All right, let's flip this over. Oh yeah, nice and golden now. That might be more of what you're looking for, what we got on this one. That was on medium-high for only about 2 minutes, but my pan has heated up significantly, so just make sure you're watching it. I'm pretty happy with that. It's not burnt, but it's like a nice golden brown. My pan has gotten very hot. So we're gonna call that done. I don't know, my stovetop sometimes goes crazy. I was on 6 out of 10 and it was like scorching. All right, so anyways, up next we're gonna add our garlic to this pan. I'm just kind of letting it cool off for a second. Like so. And the garlic just needs to get fragrant, probably take a minute or so at the most. You don't want to burn the garlic, and my pan is super hot, so I'm gonna wait like 30 seconds. You might want to wait a minute depending on how hot your pan is, but I'm now gonna add my chicken broth. Whew. My oven is scorching. I'm gonna turn down the heat even more to like medium low. You wanna scrape up any bits at the bottom, you know, with a wooden spoon, which is what I'm doing. And then we're gonna add the heavy cream in just a second. Let's add our heavy cream. Definitely don't wanna burn that. We're also gonna add our sun-dried tomatoes. And we're gonna add our Parmesan. We're gonna stir all that up. There we go. It's not a ton of sauce, honestly. I feel like the other recipe resulted in a lot more sauce, but that's probably because of the amount of carbs and heavy cream. This recipe probably goes light on the heavy cream. Now it says to bring this mixture to a simmer. So let's let it heat up a little bit and simmer. And then we're gonna put the chicken back in it. All right, so it's at a nice simmer. We're gonna add our, I don't want the sauce to break. I'm gonna turn the heat, I don't think I'm gonna turn the heat off, honestly, at this point. This oven is being, or this stovetop is being crazy for me. Throw some chicken in there, whoops. Slop it around to, I don't know if I can fit them all. I probably won't be able to, right? That would make logical sense because they didn't shrink. I do think I can fit them all, actually, maybe. I don't want to, I'm not gonna. So it says to spoon the sauce over them. I'm just gonna flip them over. How about that? That'll be easier. Then the sauce will be on both sides without as much effort. Should I put the last piece in? I think I could fit it right there. Maybe I could have done this all together and after all. Yeah, look at that. I'll flip this one. And now we're gonna put it into our oven, which has been preheated to 375. It's looking like Marry Me Chicken, I'm excited. Pop the whole skillet in there, set our timer for 20 minutes, and then we'll come back and see how it tastes. Now I will say this in case you're new to cooking. We want it to be 165 internal temperature so that it doesn't like give us salmonella or anything. So at 20 minutes, I'm gonna check the temp. Once it gets to that 165, I'll pull it out and I'll update you on how long that took when we're back ready to try it. Okay guys, it has been 20 minutes. I just temped the chicken and it is at like 170-ish. So it is done. It looks good. It looks like a delicious Marry Me Chicken. I got this little pot holder on the handle so I don't burn myself. I've made that mistake of not putting one there and then I go grab it 5 minutes later and burn all the flesh off my fingers. So I have to be careful of that. So we're gonna try this. Should we plate it or should we just try it? All right, so yeah, I mean, it looks really good. I'm ready to try it. Let's see if it's as good as normal Marry Me Chicken. And this plate is actually for Santa's cookies, but I don't think he'll mind or notice. Let's take out, I don't know which piece we wanna go with. Let's go with this piece. This looks good. Okay, so this is actually the point where you'd add basil, which I guess I didn't buy, even though I thought I did. So I'm just gonna add a little sauce to it, which is what I like to do anyways. Then we're gonna try it. Let's cut it open. Oh. Looks good. And dip it in some of the sauce here and try it out. Okay, it's really good. It's really delicious Marry Me Chicken. I kind of thought it would be. I like what the Italian spice is doing. That's adding a whole nother layer of flavors that we haven't had before in this dish. Now, ChatGPT tells me this whole entire skillet full of everything, including the chicken, is 19 carbs. I took about 1/6 of it, so if I were to eat this whole thing, I'd probably be at 4 carbs or something along those lines. It's not bad for a dinner that's delicious, so I do recommend it. Try it out, guys. If you're going keto, this is a way to have Marry Me Chicken on a keto diet. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.